Hey y'all, welcome back to Unison League. Today is tip day for the day. This week we have Coliseum and Valentine event. So a quick look at the Valentine stuff, whatever. The spawn, Valentine spawn. This monster that looks like she's pooping. Oh, huh. She got, hey, I poop. So ugly. Anyway, don't do it. Don't do this pod. It's gross. Event. Let's look at the event. You got the trap event. The Katoi. I was like, how you say that? Artemis Smoke Incarnate. I don't even know how to say that word. That's the new 39 cost monster event. You got the story mode. You got the pure thoughts. Dark Lies, that's the Valentine event, blah blah. It has a 35 Ninyu orb in it. So you should definitely do it for the Ninyu, the 35 cost Ninyu. So definitely do it until you get that Ninyu. But anyways, let's go to Coliseum. Coliseum is currently up. It's regular Coliseum, nothing really special. A couple weeks ago we had collab. And they had Coliseum and collab, and they also had Morbius. So anyways, I did make some videos of that, but I didn't post it because I'm lazy. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to our set. Because when we're talking about Coliseum, I want to talk about my mage set and what I bring and what I use to get that good. I am running around 1.14 million GS. I'm a mage. I've run 570,000 magic attack, whatever. Let's see, 596 with my passives going off. But anyways, the current threshold for one-shotting when it comes to DPS is about 500,000. 450-ish to 500,000. You have around 500,000, 480. Whatever. If you're in the hero rank, you just need around 500,000 to potentially one shot anyone in the game. So yeah, that's the current threshold. So if you're wondering if you can one shot anybody, you just need to make sure you're on that threshold, and you have a decent amount of GS, and you have some good damaging weapon procs equipped. So that way you can do a lot of good old damage. So anyways, let's get to, what am I doing? Yeah. Look at my set again. I have two current sets for actually I have three sets for Coliseum. I have a Berserker set, Mage set, and Rook set. They're all basically the same set, with the exception of the Rook, which has more defensive procs in. But they basically all live about the same-ish. The only difference is my Rook it's not really a DPS. It's basically just there to absorb damage and give me a chance to live longer. I do gain more BP as a mage because of my abilities are mostly AoE and they do a lot of damage. Yeah, I'm made to live a little bit longer as a mage. So anyways, this is the current set I have on. Let's talk about our Substrate. It does say Water Rook because I had to do a lot of changes to my account. So I haven't had a chance to relabel everything to play a couple of different games. So I don't have a lot of time to change stuff. But I actually should relabel this so I won't accidentally save over it. But I digress. First thing we're going to look about is subtraits. I do have anti-archer and anti-lancer. You want to make sure whatever you save to a set for your colo set, you save that subtrait. So you don't know how to do it, just go to your classes, go to your class, and just scroll all the way to the right and change the subtraits. So some great subtraits to have on. But right now I currently have my anti-archer and anti-lancer. So yeah, I have these. Okay, back to my color set. I do apologize. I'm very parched. I don't know why I'm so parched. So I'm drinking some water. But all right, let's talk about our abilities. Okay, we're gonna go from left to right. First ability, Ancient Spell. If you've seen some of my older videos, you see me using Ancient Spell hits 10 times at a 70% rate, and for AP, ability power of 150. Very OP, but it does have I don't know why they say 70%. It's more like 60% hit rate. And it doesn't seem like it hits quite a bit unless you're buff, but it does say 70%, so whatever. It also has a chance to confuse the opposing side by 70%, but this is more like 30%. But also depends on what kind of passive the other guys have. If you can increase your passive by rearranging your room to have increased passives there, and your armors too, and your monsters, whatever, all kinds of passives you can to increase your resistance to elements. Ancient Spell, really great ability to have for DPSing. Do run this a lot? Run this for most PVE and PvP content. So yeah, Ancient Spell OP, y'all. 20 cost at 10-second cooldown. That cooldown is really great. Awesome. Next ability I have is Meteor Rain. Meteor Rain hits from 2 to 5 times at 60 ability power to one guy, plus his adjacent allies. So if you see some punk over there on the other side, you're like, I don't like that punk. And you got some great procs on, you got some great ability buffs on, you got Piercer mode on. You're like, I'm gonna Meteor Rain them hoes. So yeah, Meteor Rain. I did have this fully enchanted to reduce its cooldown to 25 seconds. It costs 25 cost, so it's quite a bit to cast Meteor Rain, but it's really totally worth it. It does say 60 ability power that is scaled off your magic attack, and it's really high damaging. I love it. Next ability is Ominous Omen. Reduces the uni gauge by 30%. So you see someone over there, they're being kind of douchey to you. You don't like them. You can like, you know what? I want to omen them, but you want to make sure you omen them when they have some decent uni gauge build. You don't want to omen them like start of wave 1 because they got 0. They got no uni. So what's the point? So you gotta wait just a little bit before you do that Ominous Omen. A lot of people do run it. Use it immediately on the start of wave 3. So if you can't gain Unison right away and the other guy got Ominous Omen, they're gonna omen you, and you'll be like, no, don't do it. Don't do it, I want Uni. I only use this as a retaliation against the opposing side. If I see someone who has constantly omened me before, negative pressure me before, I want to respond kind by going ahead and doing it toward them. Sometimes I don't run this for duels, really, unless the people I'm running duels, they do it to me, then I'll equip it. You don't have to bring Ominous Omen as mage, but you can. It's a good ability to have to help you win. The next ability is Guard. Guard is a basic ability for all classes. It gives you a 5-second 90% damage mitigation. So a great ability to have. You still can get one shot. You still can die through Guard, but you know that 90% is still great. It's still a high chance to live. But yeah. So hopefully the opposing side doesn't have that hero buff, doesn't have Piercer mode on, and your defensive procs go off. You're gonna leave. You're like, oh yeah, come on, give me that uni, and you're like, I got 100% uni, BGs. Yeah. It does have a 15-second cooldown, so that's the only downside. They reduce it to even lower. It'll make guard too much. It'll be too OP, but you know, that 5-second cooldown. It does have a little bit long of an animation. Its animation is just like Devotion. They have the same animation duration. So yeah. What's great about about Meteor Rain and Ancient Spell. I do combo these. I don't know if I talked about it just a second ago. Did I? I don't know. I want to talk about it again just in case. So like you coming out of Unison, and you have that AOE buff on. There's you're gonna throw Meteor Rain immediately. I'm telling you, you're gonna throw it immediately. The other side, they're gonna usually guard against it. They're gonna like, oh no, meatballs, I gotta guard. I need that 90% mitigation. So they're gonna guard, right? So it's gonna mitigate that guard. It's gonna potentially mitigate that guard damage. I mean that Meteor Rain damage. If it doesn't, great. If it does, you're like, oh, not my meatballs. But then you're going to immediately, as soon as you hit Meteor Rain, you're going to start tapping on Ancient Spell. The reason you do this, because the animation of Ancient Spell is just long enough to hit right as Devotion and Guard end. So there's a Rook over there, they're going to devote against that Meteor Storm, or that Meteor Rain. That Ancient Spell is going to hit them right as it ends. Same thing with Guard. It's going to hit them soon as it ends. So this is potentially a one-shot combo for mages. One-shot combo. As long as you have Piercer mode on and you have some decent buffs going on, this is a one-shot. So great. Alright, last ability is Lament of Falling Flowers. This is the same ability as Miku Flowers. This ability first came out in the second Miku collaboration. It's the fastest single hitting DPS attack in the game. It's currently available. It was a mage exclusive ability. Now it's available for all classes. So if you're a Rook, you can like, oh yeah, beach, I want to hit you with this. It's super fast. If you have buffs going on, it's just you and one other person on the other side, and you don't want to die. You want to kill them. You want to make sure you have this ability so you can tap it, right? Tap, and it's going to hit so fast. The other side's going to die. Now they have the same ability as you. They're using the same thing, Limit of Falling Flowers against you. At the end, it's going to be based off who has the fastest data. So if you're like me, you got that Texas Wi-Fi, you can hit first. Because Texas Wi-Fi is no joke. It's OP. Let me get some more water. All right, let's talk about weapons. All right, the first weapon we have is my Arc of Attack XL. This is the Warlord staff. First came out during the Stellar Monster banner. This does proc it does proc uni by 3 for every attack that does land. So if you see Art of Attack XL, you get 3 uni on top of your current uni. This does proc based on the amount of damage, the amount of hits you do. So if you're doing like Ancient Spell, it can potentially proc 10 times, so that's like 30 uni. If you're doing Limit of Falling Flowers, it's 1 proc, so that's like 3 uni. But this does stack up based off any kind of uni gain buff you do have going on. So it does stack. It's really great. It is skill 7. It is skill 7 at 5 infused, so it's really great. Low cost, only 33 cost, so a great staff to main slot. Alright, next staff. Let me go ahead and go to my equipment instead. It's probably easier to look at. Alright, next staff I have is my Tyrant, Magic Tyrant. This is my favorite proc in the game. Changes all attacks into a 10% heal. So, yeah. Awesome, great damage. Not the strongest damage in the game, but it's great damage. And self-heal. OP. Next staff is my Flute Staff. It is probably the highest stat for a 36 cost. It is super high. It is the same stat as the 37 cost at fully infused. So see that Tyrant Staff, you see that Flute Staff is high stat, man. 30 at 36 cost. So great. If you have multiple of these and you fully infuse them, great to have. The next stat, my stats are kind of out of order. The only slot that matters is your main slot, because that's going to proc the most. But the rest of this order doesn't matter. So, anyways, Xeno Stab. Exceed just a passive for that 20%. 20% increase in my stats. Next staff is my gear staff. This is from the gear banner. We got Unigain armor up, and Unigain weapons. So yeah. Increases just like the Arc of Warlord. This is called Arc of Fatality XL. Increases uni by 3. There are better Unigain up weapons now, but I didn't get them because, I was like, I already have them. So, anyways. The next staff is my Sin staff. It's only full infused because I'm cheap and I was poor. I only got 1 ether. This is great. It heals, turns out abilities into a 5% heal, and recovers 5 cost. Now, a lot of people like this over the Magic Tyrant proc, but not me. Tyrant proc is still better. The difference between that 5 and 10% is greatly dramatic. Anyways. Next staff is my Mermaid staff, Avengers Pride, OP proc. I haven't talked about it, but it is the second highest damaging ability proc for mages. His ability is boosted based off how much HP you have remaining, up to 50. So it adds 50 on top of it. My stats are not all of them are fully infused because I'm cheap like that. My Fire Banner. This is Fire Banner staff. The Blade Fire Staff Banner XXL. A decent damaging staff based off how many fire elements I have equipped. I don't have any but 1, so it's basically a stat filler. So I don't like this to proc because it's not going to do much damage, but it's just a stat filler currently at the moment. Royal Scepter. This is where we get the sub ability Limit of Falling Flowers. Great. I didn't infuse it because when the banner first came out, I didn't get it because I didn't. But it's a great ability to have. It does have proc that Seal of Magic, which increases 5 cost recovery. So a lot of people have that fully infused. I do not. My last staff is my Zodiac Rod. This procs Sacred Seal of Magic. This used to be my favorite proc in the game because it reduces cooldown by 20% and recovers 5 cost. I did skill it to 5 because it's such a great staff. But ever since they released 36, 37, now probably next week they'll release 38 cost because I know in the JP server they have 38 cost right now. But anyways, for a 35 cost staff, skill 7 is great proc. You can run this for all events to reduce your cooldown. Cooldown for abilities is very important to keep in mind because you want to have your abilities go off right off the bat. You want to make sure you don't have long delays. You're using high cooldowns like Meteor Storm. You want these cooldowns to be reduced dramatically. That's where stuff like Blessing, that Blessing buff, which reduces your cooldown, goes into play, as well as these weapons that reduces your cooldown. Anyways, this is the upgrade. This is a combination of the Stellar Staff and the Athena staff. When those weapons first came out, the Athena weapons, they proc cost recovery, and Stellar's proc cooldown. So this is just a combination of the two. So it's great staff to have. All right, let's move on to helmets. You can see these are my helmets, and let's take a look. And here's my gears. All right, let's go from left to right again, y'all. Starting number 1, damage XXL down. This is from the Archangel Spinner, which they gave us some great stuff. They gave us a weapon that gives uni up, like gives you and your adjacent teammates 3 uni up, and the gears proc damage XXL, damage down XXL. So great for mitigating that damage. This is only infused 4 times because as Paul only got 1 ether currently, so I just need 9 more ethers, and I can do this last infusion, and this helmet will be done. Great defensive proc to have. Alright, next helmet is my Sacred Platinum Headband. This is from the Sacred Crystal event. You do the metal exchanges to get these are called Concentration XL openers. They're great to have. You get the exchanges, you get the metal exchanges from the Sacred Crystal Assault. So make sure when that is up, you do them. So you get those metals, so you exchange them for these gears. I'm just using the helmet right now. You can only have 3 openers. You can have this is called an opening defensive skill. You have 2 defensive, 2 offensive, and 2 others. So you have a total of 6 openers for your set, what you're doing. But what this says is for the first 30 seconds of battle, it's going to give you elevation of your main proc. So if you scale it to 5, it's going to change that 16 to a 20% proc increase rate of your main slot. So my main slot is damage down, so it's going to proc that 20% more for the first 30 seconds. So it's great. And the next one is my Physical Null. It is fully infused, skill 7. I do not main slot my nulls anymore. I main slot my damage XXL down, because there's abilities that go through nulls and whatever. I already have damage down proc more than my nulls. But this is great to nullify all physical attacks. Skill 7 is going to be a higher rate. Next helmet is my dual attack opener, Warlord's Crown Ascend. This I forget what banner this came from, but anyways, this is for the first 52 seconds. It gives you a dual attack. A dual attack is where you use certain abilities 2 times in a row. That's abilities like Negative Pressure, Omen, can be used twice in a row for the first 52 seconds. It increases the duration by additional 2 seconds for each skill level. So that skill 5 is going to be for the first 60 seconds. You're able to use 2 abilities at the ability to use 1 ability 2 times in a row. So a great opener to have. Next helmet is my Magic Null. Same thing as Physical Null. Procs a chance to nullify all magic attack. So yeah. Alright, last helmet is my SR Firefighter helmet. This gives me a chance to prohibit Unison. So I have a small chance to not get uni blocked. So when someone's going to throw a Pavati, they're going to Helm, and they're going to throw a Merlin, they're going to throw Indada, they're going to throw a Dark Shinji, they're going to throw whatever uni block they go. This gives me a small chance to nullify that. A small chance is better than no chance. I got this from the free spawn. I don't know if it's currently available. I don't think it's available anymore in the free spawn, but that's where I got it from. I got it from the free spawn. It's 3 cost, so great use at low cost. And a little bit of chance is better than no chance. Alright, let's go ahead and move to our armors. First armor is my Archangel Clothing. Fully infused, skill 7. 38 cost, high stats. Damage down, XXO. Main slotted. So yeah. So next armor is my Resurrection Armor. For the first 60 seconds at skill 5, it gives me a resurrection protection. So yeah, Resurrection's OP. Recovers 60% of your maximum HP if someone kills you. So yeah, only way you can remove it if they remove that buff. So if you have something that removes resurrection, like a monster removes resurrection, that's the only way you'll lose resurrection. It's only an opener. So yeah. Next armor is my Assassin Armor, Nightmare Guilt. Damage down XL, skill 7. This, when it first came out, it was OP. A lot of people got it. Looks awesome. Great, even though it's only 31 cost, it's still a great proc to have. And being at a lower cost, there are, like the Archangel, that's 38 cost. This is 31 cost. It's a great proc, even though it's not an XXL. It's still a good damage down XL. Good way to mitigate that damage. Let's go ahead and skip the. Let's go ahead. I got another assassin armor, skill 7, and so yeah. So I have a total of 3 damage downs in my armors, and I have 1 in my helmet, so I have a total of 4 damage downs. 2 XXLs and 2 XLs. Alright, this is my Stellar Guard Garm 198 damage reduction XL. You can have I just had brain fart. Anyways, this is a constant passive that massively reduces magic and physical damage taken. And it's a constant throughout the whole battle. Great to have on for a lot of events, for Coliseum, for guild battle, for event runs. It's a great constant. They haven't released an upgrade to this. This is currently available in the video spawn, so make sure you keep on doing the video spawns until you can get these armors. They're OP. Great to have. I do currently have 2 of them. You can run 2 other constants, which is called reflection reduction. That's if you want to not die from reflect. You want to equip 2 of them, but they will override, or they will conflict with these damage reductions, because you can only have 2 of whatever openers are constants, so you can only have 2 defensive constants on. So damage reductions are a defensive constant, so they will override, or they will conflict with your damage down. So you want to make sure, if you want to go DPS, but you also wanted to live a little bit longer, you want to wear these damage down XL constants. If you just want to go pure DPS and not worry about your defense, then you want to go with reflection reduction. Alright, and our last armor is my Vakari armor, dress of the Brimhinder, the Reflection XL, chance to massively reduce physical magic damage taken and reduce damage back to the attacker. When this first came out, it was OP, back in 2000 whatever. It's 3 infused at 198. It's just a basic reflect. It's still a great reflect ability to have on. So if it's a person who's attacking me, they don't got reflection reduction on, they have a chance of dying. Usually that's me. Usually I'm the one who's dying reflect, but I have 1 reflect in, that's just enough. And yeah. All right. Let's move on. Monsters. These are my monsters I currently have on. I usually only use Yusuke and now Light Ray. I used to run Leviathan for Coliseum, but I prefer Light Ray. But anyways, we're going to talk. Let's actually go. We're going to kind of bit out of order. I have Ray slotted in the middle because that's my go-to slot for uni. It's usually when you want to make sure you put your Unison monsters in a specific spot where your thumb is going to go to, so that way you can immediately respond. So the middle slot is usually my first uni when it comes to Coliseum, so that's why she's in the middle slot. Alright, let's talk about monster number 1, main slot, Galileo. Why she's in slot 1? So if people look at my year, they're like, why you got Galileo? What's up with that? But anyway, why she's there, what she does a chance to stun the opposing enemies by 50%, at a 50% chance rate. But she's only there because of her passive. She gives you 240 light defense against Unison damage. So if someone throws a dark monster or a time monster, this defends you against it by 220. Let's go to Yusuke. Yusuke is really helpful. He removes resurrection, ward, invincibility, damage, reflection, constant healing, damage, reflection, effects. Wait, damage, reflection. It's kind of redundant, but anyways. Removes all buzz, AP at 500, skill 5. All opposing people one time. It goes through damage, reflection, and reflection effects. Anyways, it gives you ward, gives you unit gain, applies hero to you. But his real use, well, his usefulness is like his strong AP hit, and he removes everything. But he gives you 30% resistance to cursed, and gives you 300 water defense. Water defense is important because there's current monsters like out there that's Zeus that does a lot of high fire damage, and there's Michaela, 36 cost, does a lot of high fire damage. So you need some kind of water defense to defend against that, and this would give you that. We're going to skip Ray and go to the next monster, Odin. Odin was the original one-shot meta for Wells. A lot of people loved him. He was OP. He did the same thing Yusuke does. Removes everything. And he does paralyze at a 3-stack, which is OP. Alright, what his passive, why I like him is he provides a 30% paralysis resistance, which is OP. And gives you a dark defense of 150. Dark defense against time and light. So if someone's going to throw a light monster with multiple hits that's high damage, that's going to mitigate that by 150. Same thing with time. So and this does stack with that light monster Galileo. So against time, it's going to be currently at 240 plus 150. So that is 390 defense against time. And yeah. Next, we're going to go to Croit. Croit was the original troll monster of Unison. She takes away Unison and gives Unison. And she also adds, another debuff and hits 4 times at 220, whatever. I guess 220, yeah, whatever. She's really high damaging. She has a cool animation, like she's like bleep beaches. I don't usually use her in Coliseum. A lot of people used to use her a lot. I didn't really use her that much. I don't think I did, but I like her because of her passive. She gives you some wind defense of 150, and she gives you 30% resistance against paralysis. You don't want to get that you don't want to be paralyzed. She gives you 30% resistance to it. So this stacks with Odin. So we're sitting at a current of 60% resistant against being paralyzed. OP. Next monster we have is Teach. Edward Teach. He does water block, which prevents any fire unison from the opposing side. He's here because of his water defense. He gives us a total of 400 water defense against fire monsters. So this is going to stack with that Yusuke at 300 for a total of 700 water defense. You need a high level of defense against these higher level fire monsters. So Teach will give you that. And he's 35 cost. I have another water monster that gives me basically the same, but I actually could equip her, but let's see. Another water monster that gives it is Himiko. She gives you. Oh, she's only 150. No, you want Teach. She only gives you with 300 defense. Teach gives you more. So you want to hit Teach, gives you that 400 water defense. Next monster is Thalis, the Earth Goddess Stellar Monster. The best Stellar Monster that came out. 29 cost. Why is she the best one? It's not because of her elevation or unit gain or whatever. She is the best because of that time defense of 240. So yeah, time defense against star. So you need this time defense against people who are Leviathan. back when the one shot was the Scar monster, 1 wasn't enough to live against whales. You needed 2. I used to have 2 equipped in my color set, but I only have 1 now because I need other elemental defense, and I could live through a couple Leviathans. So this 240 would help me live against that, and she's great. So, and it's 29 cost, so it gives you a lot of other costs to work with your other sets. Next monster I have is Alexander. He is a decent fire hero monster. 33 cost. A lot of people loved him when he first came out. I did not get him during his original banner. I got him quite a bit later. The reason I like him is for his fire defense. He gives you a total of 240, fully infused, and fire defense against wind. So there's that Tiamat, that weird looking wind girl. She does 10 hits, high damaging wind monster. Arrow, another high damaging wind monster. This will defend against that at 240 fire defense. That's why I like him. Alright, I do have another Odin. So I have 2 Odins, again for his Polaris' resistance of 30%. So I'm sitting currently at 90 resistance to being paralyzed. Why you need such a high resistance is because monsters like Zeus, that fire monster, which paralyzes you, and Odin that paralyzes you, you don't want to be paralyzed. You want to be able to guard. You want to be able to attack. So you need resistance against being paralyzed. So that's why I like to run these monsters to help me be resistant against being paralyzed. So I'm sitting currently at a 90%. They're also you get passive based off your rooms. I might rearrange my room to give me more resistance to being paralyzed, but right now we're looking at our monsters. I'm sitting at 90%, being resistance to being paralyzed. So anyways, all right, our last monster is Nelchris. She is a fire block. She is a wind lock monster. She does lock all monsters, all opponents from using wind. Unison. The reason she's here is for her fire defense. She gives us a total of 400, which stacks with Alexander's 240 for a total of 440 fire resistance to wind monsters. So unless you know what your opponent's going to throw, you want to make sure you're across the board. Your defense, you can defend and live through certain unisons. Not all unisons in the game can one shot. There's specific monsters that can one shot. That's gonna be that can one shot you. So you just want to make sure you're resistant to as many as possible. That's why I have my fire, my dark, my time, my wind, and my water, my light. So yeah. Last monster we're going to talk about is Ray. Light Ray from the Evangelion collaboration. The reason I love her, and she's only 2-potted, is because she gives us AoE Piercer. She gives us blessings for that cooldown reduction. And she gives Unigain to everybody. And she also get a 6-stack light buff to our attack. So yeah, she's really great. Not many people like her. A lot of whales will say she's like the worst one for the Evangelion collab. A lot of people went for the Time Monster, that Mori. I forget what it's called, but anyways, it's a Time Frenzy monster that reduces Uni, gives Uni, gives Frenzy, and gives Resurrection, but I didn't go for that monster because I prefer to have Ray. She is the best one in my opinion because she gives you AoE Piercer and Blessing and Cost, and at 2 infused she gets Standby Awaken. That's why I love Ray. She's my favorite monster, and she hits 2 times. She's like great animation. Okay. Now you can look at my monsters. You can see they're not all max level. They're not all 198s. Main reason you don't want to max your monsters. You don't want to completely 198 them. It's that you don't want them to be blocked. Most people are going to max level their monsters and put a 198 on them, or they will not. So you want to be able, whatever you throw, like if you're going, it's just you and one other person that are able to unison. And let's say if you throw Yusuke. You throw Yusuke, and they see that you have 4 infused, and they got 4 infused. They're gonna throw theirs on you. They're gonna throw theirs against yours, and they're gonna hope it's going to either. They're gonna hope that it's going to actually draw because of the matching stats, but you don't want that. I don't want that, at least. So I make sure whatever monsters I use for guild battle or Coliseum, they're not ever max level or fully 198. So that's why you see some weird numbers on my monsters. If I do have them 198 and max level, it's just because I didn't care. I don't use them for whatever. But yeah, that's my monsters in a nutshell. That's my Coliseum set, and that's my Get Good set. I do like Coliseum. It's my favorite event in the game, and hopefully y'all enjoy it too, and hopefully y'all don't omen me or negative pressure me, and I won't do the same to you. Y'all have a great day, y'all. Peace out. Goodbye. And can I do this heart? Can I throw your heart? Let's go to the lobby. Let's throw some hearts in the lobby. Actually, I'm gonna give it some. Let me see who's here. Can I give a present to somebody? Give you a present. I got 10 presents. Who wants it? This Sazuki wanted. This Catherine J. Channy Overhaul. Alexandria. Oh, Overhaul's running. Don't run away from me, Overhaul. I'll throw you a present. Give you a present. Take it, bitch. Alexandria, take it. Yeah, take it. Let's give it one more. Let's just give you a heart. All right, y'all. Peace out. Goodbye. Oh, no. I meant to do this. Goodbye.